Good evening, Kenya. Welcome to Kenya News Update today. I'm your host, and we begin with a story that has captivated football fans across the continent and right here at home. The dust has settled on a dramatic Africa Cup of Nations final, and for the second time in 4 years, Senegal stands atop African football. The Lions of Teranga defeated hosts Morocco 1-0 in a final that will be remembered as much for its controversy as for its football. But tonight, we're not just looking at the result. We're diving deep into what this victory means for Senegal, the questions it raises about the tournament's integrity, and the powerful lessons it holds for Kenya as we prepare to co-host AFCON 2027. We'll examine the economic impact, the diplomatic ripples, and the raw emotion of a nation celebrating its heroes. This is a 12-minute deep dive into Senegal's historic AFCON triumph. Let's begin with the moment that sealed it. A solitary goal, a moment of individual brilliance, was enough to separate two giants of African football in Rabat. But the journey to that moment was fraught with tension. Reports emerged even before kickoff that Senegal's delegation faced what their federation called a lack of adequate security upon arrival in Morocco, leaving players and staff feeling at risk. This set the stage for a final where the off-pitch drama threatened to overshadow the sport. And then, during the match itself, a pivotal moment. A disputed penalty decision for Morocco in the second half led to furious protests from the Senegalese team. In a stunning scene, the entire squad began walking off the pitch in protest. It was a move that could have seen them disqualified, forfeiting the final they had fought so hard to reach. But then, one man stepped in. Captain and leader Sadio Mané. According to Senegal's own president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, it was Mané who persuaded his teammates to turn around, to come back, and to finish the game. He reminded them of the millions watching, of the dignity of the sport, and of their own legacy. They returned, defended resolutely, and held on for a famous, if fractious, victory. That leadership in the heat of the most intense pressure is what separates good teams from legendary ones. Now, let's shift our perspective from the pitch to the stands and across the Mediterranean to London. In the neighborhood known as Little Morocco in North Kensington, confidence had been sky-high. The Diaspora community was, in the words of local activist Swad Talsi, completely taken over by excitement. They scented victory. The belief was palpable. This highlights the incredible power of AFCON to unite global diasporas, to create pockets of national pride thousands of miles from home. For those few weeks, a street in London becomes a piece of Marrakesh or Dakar. The disappointment in these communities is profound, but so too is the pride in how far their team came. Meanwhile, in Dakar, the opposite emotion erupted in a tidal wave of joy. On January 20th, 2026, the champions returned home. President Bassirou Diomaye Faye was there to greet them, calling their win historic. What followed was a victory parade for the ages. Tens of thousands of Senegalese packed the streets as the players, brandishing their trophy, rode on an open-top bus for over 7 hours. Imagine that, 7 hours of pure, unadulterated national celebration. This is the other side of the AFCON coin, the transformative power of success for the winning nation. It's a moment of unity, of shared identity, and of immense patriotic fervor. But this final and the events surrounding it have left a bitter aftertaste for many observers. The BBC Swahili service, in its analysis, didn't mince words. They described a final marred by many controversial events that tarnished the stature of the tournament in the football world. The narrative of poor treatment for the visiting finalists, combined with a chaotic match overshadowed by protests and disputed refereeing, has sparked a serious conversation. Is there a home advantage, and then is there an unfair advantage? The question many are asking is, Morocco Walipendelwa. Were Morocco favored? This isn't just sour grapes, it's a question of integrity for the Confederation of African Football. When the world watches, the tournament must be seen as fair. Furthermore, the behavior of some media in the chaotic aftermath has been widely condemned, with reports of a scramble for access and sensationalism that added to the disorder. This cloud over the competition's climax is something CAF must address head-on, especially with the world's eyes turning to East Africa in 2027. So, what does this all mean for us here in Kenya? We are not mere spectators, we are future hosts. The baton has now been formally passed. Following the conclusion of AFCON 2025, the CAF flag was handed over to the joint hosts of 2027 Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Our very own Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary, Rebecca Miano, has framed this as a monumental opportunity. She stated that Pamoja AFCON 2027 will be a major gateway for Kenya to showcase its rich culture and tourism potential to the world. This goes far beyond the 90 minutes on the pitch. This is about national branding on a continental stage. Let's talk numbers, because hosting an event of this magnitude is a massive economic undertaking with the potential for huge returns. While specific figures for Senegal's 2025 win are still being calculated, we can look at past tournaments and projections for our own. The investment in infrastructure, stadiums, training facilities, transport links, is enormous. For the 2027 Pamoja bid, significant funds are being allocated. But the return on investment can be transformative. Let's visualize the projected economic impact breakdown for a host nation like Kenya. Tourism is the immediate beneficiary. We're not just talking about fans coming for matches. We're talking about global media exposure, showcasing our landscapes, our wildlife, our cities. Hospitality booms. Hotels, restaurants, and tour operators see a massive surge. CS Miano's vision is precisely this, using football as the hook to introduce Kenya to millions. Then there's job creation. Stadium construction, event security, hospitality staffing, and temporary event roles provide a significant employment boost. The third major area is infrastructure legacy. The improved roads, the upgraded airports, the new sporting facilities, these remain long after the final whistle, benefiting citizens for decades. And finally, there's the intangible boost of national morale and global prestige. Winning the right to host is a vote of confidence in a nation's organizational capabilities. Now, let's get more specific. What are the tangible metrics of success for a host nation? We can look at some key statistics from recent tournaments and projections. First, direct tourism revenue. Major sporting events can generate hundreds of millions of dollars in visitor spending. For a co-host, a realistic target could be in the range of significant figures. Second, global TV viewership. AFCON finals regularly attract audiences well over 100 million across the continent and the diaspora. That's 100 million pairs of eyes potentially seeing beautiful shots of Nairobi, Mombasa, or the Masai Mara during broadcast cutaways. Third, social media reach. The digital conversation around AFCON generates billions of impressions. Strategic marketing can leverage this to promote Kenyan tourism directly. And fourth, the long-term uplift in tourism arrivals. Studies often show a sustained increase in visitors for years after a major event, known as the halo effect. For Kenya, with our existing tourism appeal, this halo could be particularly bright. But it's not just about economics and tourism. Senegal's victory offers a profound lesson in soft power. The image of President Faye, a relatively new leader, embracing his national team and celebrating with his people is powerful. It projects a nation united, confident, and successful. It pushes a positive narrative about Senegal to the world. In today's global landscape, such positive associations are invaluable. They attract investment, foster goodwill, and elevate a country's standing. For Kenya, AFCON 2027 is our chance to craft and project our own narrative. It's an opportunity to show a modern, vibrant, tech-savvy, and culturally rich Kenya to Africa and the world. It's a chance to move beyond traditional postcard images and showcase our innovation, our art, our music, and our entrepreneurial spirit. Imagine cultural festivals running parallel to the matches, business forums connecting East Africa to the world, and innovation showcases highlighting Kenyan tech. The football is the centerpiece, but the event can be a multi-dimensional platform for national expression. However, the controversies of the 2025 final serve as a stark warning. Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania must be impeccable hosts. The principle of fairness must be sacrosanct. Every team, from the favorites to the underdogs, must feel welcome, secure, and respected. The treatment of Senegal's squad in Morocco, whether perceived or real, has damaged the tournament's reputation. We cannot afford a single such headline in 2027. Our organizational efficiency, our security, our hospitality, and our refereeing standards must be beyond reproach. We must learn from the logistical and diplomatic missteps of others to ensure Pamoja AFCON 2027 is remembered for its fantastic football and flawless organization, not for controversy. This brings us to the heart of the debate. Does the immense benefit of hosting outweigh the costs and risks? Perspective 1 says absolutely yes. The long-term infrastructure, the tourism branding, the jobs, and the national pride create a legacy that far outlasts the expense. It's a catalyst for development. Perspective 2 urges caution. They point to white elephant stadiums in other nations that now sit empty, draining maintenance resources. They worry about the massive upfront cost, suggesting the money could be directly invested in healthcare, education, or social housing. It's a valid debate. The key for Kenya and its partners is rigorous planning, transparent budgeting, and a clear legacy plan for every stadium and facility built. The goal must be sustainable development, not just a month-long spectacle. Let's bring this home with a final, crucial comparison. Senegal has now won 2 of the last 4 AFCON tournaments. They are a footballing powerhouse. What can we learn from their model? Their success is built on strong domestic league development, investment in youth academies, and the export of talent to top European leagues who then return to serve the national team. Kenya's football journey has been different. Our focus now must be dual, building a competitive Harambee Stars team to proudly represent us on home soil in 2027, and simultaneously building the organizational capacity to host a world-class event. One supports the other. A successful tournament boosts local football interest and investment. A better national team performance energizes the host nation. It's a symbiotic relationship we must nurture. In conclusion, Senegal's victory in Rabat is more than a football result. It is a case study in sporting triumph, national unity, and the complexities of modern tournament hosting. The celebrations in Dakar show us the prize. The controversies show us the pitfalls. For Kenya, as we count down to 2027, the lessons are clear. We must plan with vision, execute with precision, and host with unparalleled grace and fairness. We must leverage this platform to tell Kenya's story to the world. The opportunity is not just to host a football tournament, but to stage a national coming-out party that accelerates our growth and reshapes our global image for a generation. The work starts now. From the news desk, that's our deep dive. We'll be following every step of the journey to Pamoja AFCON 2027. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today.